Many love the cherished franchise that is Sonic, myself included, but I'm here to tell you that Sonic for the Sega Genesis sucks, and I'm not sorry. Now don't get me wrong, I love the Sonic franchise, through the not so high highs to the very low lows. But there is just something so appealing about the blue blur that I just can't help but love him. I first grew up with the Sonic Adventure games on the PlayStation 3 and also Sonic Generations on my uncle's Xbox. But further down the line, from the first game I ever bought was surprisingly Sonic Mania. Now I never finished the game, far from it in fact, but I really enjoyed the game to the point that I was so interested in playing the older games. So now you can imagine my disappointment when I played through Spring Yard and Labyrinth Zone. My disappointment with this game was so bad that I didn't even want to finish the game after the third zone. But before we fully dive into my disappointment, I want to partially cover the development of this game. In the late 80s, there was a large push for home consoles and the attempting recreation of arcade games at home. So with Sega seeing an open space in the market, they decided to create their own 8-bit Master System, which attempted to rival the NES. Obviously, that didn't pan out, but Sega, being a huge arcade developer, they came up with the idea to port their arcade games to the system, which worked out enough for them to release the Sega Genesis, the first huge console leap in that point in time. This new 16-bit system allowed never-before-seen fidelity, audio, and creative ideas to come to life. But there's still one thing Nintendo had over Sega, and that was their platforming mascot. But Sega wanted to change this. With the failure of Alex Kidd on the Master System, they knew they had to mix it up if they wanted to rival Mario. So with that, they hired Yuji Naka, who wanted to make a game centered around speed. But Sega thought the West was the most important audience, which Sonic reflects heavily in his design. There were many factors in the making of Sonic's design, such as Hedgehogs not being native to America or Japan, so it has an exotic appeal to those audiences, or the color schemes, blue being the color of Sega, as well as the white lines in Sega being in the shoes, but also blue is the opposite of red, obviously. And two are the shoes contrasting against the blue spines of the spiky hedgehog. It just seemed like Sonic was handcrafted in the lab to be as popular as ever. But if you look at the marketing that Sega brought to the West, the commercials heavily pressure that Sonic is cool, a troublemaker, against the grain, and most importantly, fast. All of these made such an appeal to the world, and also the fact that basically every Genesis console came with Sonic, but we get it now. The way Sonic was portrayed through the media, and what the developers were aiming for. But did they hit the mark? Well, I'm just going to sit here and say that Sonic's levels don't involve speed. But I'm not going to say that you are absolutely cruising through these levels either. These games heavily stuck with the classic platforming feel as opposed to later entries, which was a great disappointment to myself. But even though the stages look great in this game, are they great to play? I'd say outside of two zones, those being Green Hills and Starlight Zone, these were the only levels I enjoyed because of one thing: speed. The game is best when it features speed in its levels. The handling of Sonic isn't very accurate enough to do precise platforming like Mega Man or Mario. So when you have to make jumps onto specifically small platforms, it just feels unfair. Because this game features a momentum-based physics system, as opposed to the previously mentioned games where there is a definite top speed. So 1, these levels barely showcase the best part of the game, but what about the ways the levels are laid out? And these are annoying in my opinion as well. There are many unavoidable obstacles in the levels, multiple sections where you can just sit and wait for a moving platform to bring you to your destination, such as Marble Zone, where you just sit on these boring blocks in lava, or Spring Yard Zone, where you just sit in these moving elevators that take forever. Now, these may seem like nitpicks to those of you blinded by nostalgia, but I do not want to sit on a slow-moving platform while underwater, going to a spike that I cannot jump out of the way of, or else I'll die. Now, that is not fun, and oh my god! The water sections in this game are horrendous. It makes Sonic move stupid slow, gives him a timer on how long he can be down there, and makes it harder for changing directions while jumping. This all just sucks so much. Each level, if it doesn't bore you to death, annoys you until you just want to put in Super Mario World. Now, some of you may be thinking I'm being too hard in this game, but I cannot express the betrayal I felt while playing through the game past Green Hill Zone. I was expecting fun, speedy levels that test my reactions, not whether or not I've played the game before. Take for example the blue metal enemy in Spring Yard Zone. I died to that thing so many times before realizing what it was. Or the bomb enemies in Starlight Zone, which to my knowledge you can't even kill despite there being an obvious weak spot right there. Or what about the sea urchin bomb thingies that you cannot avoid in a short corridor? Now, if I didn't have fun throughout the majority of these levels, did I have fun in other sections of the game? Well, I didn't. The special stages are alright, nothing horrendous or nothing, and the bosses are just boring if not a little annoying. The sides of this coin being Eggman from Green Hill Zone being stupid easy, or the Chase and Labyrinth Zone, which is just atrociously awful. Now I want to preface that there are definitely redeeming qualities of this game, those being the visuals, the music, and just the inherent coolness of Sonic. I'm not gonna sit here and tell anybody that they can't like Sonic, because I love Sonic. I just don't like Sonic the Hedgehog for the Sega Genesis. So with that being said, I hope you guys leave your thoughts down below in the comments, and be sure to check out my playthrough of the game, albeit all of it isn't uploaded because my footage got corrupted in the last 2 sections, that being Scrap Brain and Final Zone, and to be honest, I don't care enough to play through the game just to record those levels. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll catch you next time. Peace. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure to check out my other retro and Find It game content, as well as my Twitch. I stream every Friday and Saturday from 7 to 10 p.m. So, with that being said, catch you guys next time. Peace.